Herbs are an important part of Italian cooking. Just to clarify, chefs usually refer to herbs as the flavorful leaves of a plant. In contrast, the word spice is used when referring to other parts, such as the bark, roots, seeds, or berries. Herbs can be used fresh or dried, but except for oregano, we only use fresh herbs. Most herbs are very different when dried and usually not as good. When I used to do my home tastings, I grew all of my own herbs in my front yard and would pick them minutes before they went on a pizza. The most famous herb used on pizza is basil, which grows on the hillsides of Naples. When you eat basil directly, it can have a mild, bitter flavor, but as soon as it's paired with other foods, it seems to add sweetness. It goes amazingly well with either fresh tomatoes or with tomato sauce. If you make a tomato sauce pizza, with and without basil, you will see instantly that the one with the basil tastes much sweeter and actually also just tastes totally different. When basil is super fresh, the leaves are curly, but tend to flatten out as the leaves lose a bit of moisture. This is flat leaf parsley. It looks a little bit like cilantro, and shoppers often confuse the two. They're somewhat related, but the taste really is totally different. Parsley is actually quite a bit milder. Parsley is another herb that pairs very well with tomato sauces. Parsley also comes in a curly leaf variety. We sometimes use this as a substitute, but generally stick to the flat leaf. Here we see three more herbs. The first is thyme, then oregano, and finally rosemary. Thyme has very tiny leaves, and after the plant matures, it usually has woody stems. It pairs very well with earthy flavors such as mushrooms and onions. Rosemary is in the pine or evergreen family, but it usually grows in bushes instead of trees. It's got a very strong aroma compared to the other herbs that we use. It pairs very well with meats, potatoes, and bread. We actually use it in our croutons. It pairs extremely well with sun-dried tomatoes in our pepperoni calzone. It also tops our dolce pizza, offsetting the sweetness of the honey. Here's a photo of thyme at the top and rosemary at the bottom. This is oregano from my garden. As with all herbs, there are many strains and varieties. We are working with local farmers to grow a particular type of oregano that we really like. As with most herbs, when dried, it's very different than fresh. However, whereas most herbs are not as good dried, oregano can actually improve when dried. We use fresh oregano in the house salad and the gnocchi pizza, and we use dried oregano in several dishes also. Here are some dried oregano stalks waiting to be stripped of their leaves.